And this is Ken Kraetzer for CBSIServices, talking business from a home office in White Plains, New York. Another edition of our CBSI Talking Business interview series, talking to leaders in the fields of banking, insurance, customer service, digital marketing, business education. And we're representing our team based in Harrison, New York at CBSI, taking care of our clients. CBSI provides insurance-based benefits to the credit card and consumer banking industry. Our team has done a great job over the COVID-19 period taking care of our clients and their customers. And today we have back with us a good friend calling in from Cincinnati, Ohio, and that is Alexandra Bowden. And Alexandra is a CEO of Peoplefirst Talent and Retention Consulting. Alexandra, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Ken. How are you?
Good. Tell us a little bit about, since we talked last, what have you seen happening? Fortunately, that we're starting to see companies able to reopen to some degree as more businesses are able to open, providing limited, in some cases, services. What do you see happening in the job market and with your client base?
So it's been mostly positive, right? Everyone's tentatively starting to open up. They're starting to slowly shift people back to work. They've been doing that in a lot of different facets. You see companies offering a shift back as an option to choose for people that feel comfortable. Some of them are offering shifts back in phases or rotations. So everyone's being pretty cautious and respectful of others' health and safety concerns. We're seeing things open up. The job market is actually returning to normal, I think, a little bit faster than we anticipated. Obviously, we do still have record unemployment, but even in the last week, the job market itself seems to be expanding openings and removing hiring freezes. So there's a lot of potential happening, and it's happening a lot quicker than I think many of us anticipated.
Sure, it's a good sign. My wife went back to work at her company today in Westchester County, New York. Now, tell us a little bit on the hiring side. Obviously, a lot of hiring just froze once the COVID-19 situation. Unemployment's been at a terrible record level. So how has COVID-19 impacted the hiring market? Is it going to start to get better on that part of hiring?
So it is going to start getting better, but the one impact we've seen is a total 180 when it comes to the power dynamic between the company and the job seeker. Now, as most companies probably know, or they've heard the buzzword, it's a candidate market. It has been about the last 4 to 5 years. Candidates have been really holding the power in terms of being selective who they choose to be employed with, expecting a lot of different things from companies, expecting a lot more customer service, coming off of the financial crisis of 2008 where similar thing, right? We had unemployment and companies really held that power. It didn't necessarily create a very positive experience for job seekers. They weren't incentivized to do so. So we saw that shift over the last 10 years where the market was really dry. It was really hard to find the talent that companies were looking for and needing. And that's been flipped very, very suddenly. So we're flooded again with applicants. Companies are seeing sometimes hundreds of applicants for one job posting. Job postings that were open for months are now being open for days. So it's definitely a shift in the dynamic, but there's a lot of things that I would caution around that to make sure that we are being fair and equitable, both for the company, ensuring they get the right talent, and also for the job seekers and making sure that they are choosing the right organizations where they're going to stay long term.
And when you talk to your clients, companies that are in need of specific talent for certain areas, what do they need to do to ensure that they find the people, the talent they need to run their businesses?
That's the moneymaker question, because I know I've spoken to a lot of companies and they're putting out there, like, we've got 500 applicants. We don't need to worry about, finding talent. And you're right, you don't. But where most companies fail is in choosing the right talent. And there's a lot of data supporting that we are about 50% effective, like literally the effectiveness of a coin toss when it comes to picking the right person for a job, because we're basing it on antiquated processes. So interview questions that have nothing to do with whether the person's going to be good at the position, basing it on experience or what company they worked for, which again, actually has very little statistical relevance as to how good they're going to be in the current role. Resumes, which are often inflated or, have a very narrow, superficial representation of someone's skill set and capabilities. There's a ton of antiquated ways that we still manage the hiring process that are not producing us helpful results. So companies need to start resetting their mindset around, how do I ensure that I have a ironclad process in place that's consistent, that eliminates bias wherever possible, and is actually getting down to the core of someone's natural skills and strengths and how adaptable they'll be moving into the position and the needs. And some of that's really just simply starting with the hiring manager defining, what does success look like in that role? What type of skills and talents and personal attributes does someone have to do or have to thrive in that position? And working backwards from there to ensure that everything throughout the process is built around that.
And what do you see in talking with your clients and advising them are some of the biggest pitfalls that they need to avoid as we come out of the current COVID lockdown economy and hopefully moving towards a more prosperous economy like we've experienced the last few years? What do the companies have to avoid in that process?
So I would say a number of things. First is settling, right? You have an influx of talent. It's very easy to get excited, to move people through the process and pick who looks best on paper or who's most exciting in an interview. And again, that's based on, confirmation bias. It's not really based on anything factual. So making sure that we're making those crucial hiring decisions on a methodical process. The next is to not take this sudden shift in dynamic and power as an opportunity to go back to providing a poor customer candidate experience. It was something that soured job seekers for a very long period of time and ruined employer brands. Companies were getting really, really good about this because they had to. They were forced to. The power was back in the job seekers' hands, and they really had to cater to people to get them and convince them to join their company. You want to maintain that mindset because in reality, job seekers that have a bad experience with your company, not only will they probably never apply to your company again, and they remember that. So a couple of years from now, when the power dynamic shifts back, they're going to remember how you treated them, but they also are very vocal about telling everybody else. So even though we might be in a temporary, desperate moment of a flood of candidates who may feel the need to accept different jobs, we still want to maintain our integrity and our ethics around providing top customer service and candidate experience for top talent. They are still going to have the ability to choose between opportunities, and that's going to probably become more and more relevant again over the next year or so.
And Alexandra, tell us a little bit about what are some of the key talent skills areas that you're getting a lot of demand for? What are some of the types of positions that you see a lot of demand for you see early on as we come out of the COVID-19 period?
One of the biggest things I see across job descriptions out there right now is probably adaptability and cross-functional experience. So for example, in the HR realm, or even looking at something like an executive assistant who used to have a pretty siloed position, or HR, you had your generalist, you had your, trainer, you had your benefits person. What I'm seeing predominantly across the job spectrum is companies that are really looking for hiring one person who can be more effective across many areas. So that adaptability and being able to showcase that and speak to where you've done a lot of cross collaboration, you've worked with different teams, you've been able to take your skill set and your strengths and apply them in many different areas. That's going to be important for job seekers to speak to. And that's going to be important for companies to see from a candidate, because they are still being frugal, right? The economy is still under strain. So they want to get more bang for their buck, and they want to hire talent that's going to be able to make a big lasting impact very quickly in a lot of different areas.
Okay, a quick thought for the class of 2020 who may have come out of college or come out of graduate school and saw the normal hiring process disrupted. Any thoughts for how recent graduates should approach the job market?
Really, they just need to be persistent. It's really a challenge for many job seekers. It's an impact on their confidence, on their belief in their capabilities when you get rejection after rejection after rejection. And the reality is there's just so much competition right now in this very moment per job application. Know how to position your skills, know how to talk about your experiences. Don't sell yourself short, and don't let those rejections affect how you feel about yourself and your capabilities. As challenging as that is, you have to do a little bit of mindset work and just maintain that positivity, keep plugging along. You will have a breakthrough. So just try not to let it impact your demeanor or your belief about yourself, because that will come through in an interview if you're feeling self-conscious.
Okay, and Alexandra Bowden, CEO of Peoplefirst, based in Cincinnati, Ohio, talent and retention consulting. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the services of your company?
Yeah, so we really focus on the talent equation. That's talent acquisition, talent management, and talent retention. We help companies with better hiring strategies. As you may have heard, it costs companies 75 to 150% of each person's salary that they lose. So all of that time and productivity that's wasted on hiring the wrong person, or not being able to get them to stay, or not being able to get the most effectiveness out of them you can, is really hitting companies' bottom line. So today, in this market where we need everything that we can have in terms of resources and profit margins, that's going to be really, really imperative. So we really helped companies with their talent makeover, is the fun way we like to put it.
Okay, Alexandra, final thought for us today.
I would just say, I'm excited. I think a lot of companies have been really malleable and open-minded. We've kind of been forced into this shift, and everyone's made the best of it that they can. And I'm excited to see companies really maintain that. I think the workforce is going to grow and evolve through this process, and I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes.
Okay, hey, great to talk with you today. Alexandra Bowden, CEO of Peoplefirst, talent and retention consulting based in Cincinnati. Always great to chat with you, and we'll do it again soon. And so for CBSIServices, our Talking Business interview series, and we always shout out to our team based in Harrison, New York, which provides insurance-based benefits to the credit card industry and consumer banking industry. Have done a really great job working from home during this COVID-19 situation, taking care of our clients and their customers. So Alexandra, good to see you today, and we'll catch up again soon.
Great, looking forward to it.
Okay, and so this is Ken Kraetzer again from my home office in White Plains, New York. Have a good day and stay safe, everybody. Okay.
Oh man, I had a feeling that was going to happen.
That's okay. That's okay.